I'm quite glad I'm the last because much of the terrain has been covered. I have vague and symbolic empty slides that are here to just remind me of things and then I riff, but now I don't have to because much has been said. I was looking at this seminar and at its structure and aims as much as I could understand them. And I figured it is okay to discuss the precise topic from the poster, but you know, what if it had an even wider context? And I said to myself, go for it, young man. I'm 60. And this is what came out. So first thing, like, we cannot, I really, I enjoy searching for images for my slides, and I would appreciate if you would scream each time you approve, because that feeds my ego. So, the trumpets, I don't know if you can read, these chicks even wear, yeah, fantastic. The world is going mad. It's a very significant statement because, for instance, when we had the dot-com bubble burst, we were not discussing the world as a place that's gone bananas. So we handled that one particular crisis however we knew. Whereas now all these crises that we are living through and that are intensifying are happening at a moment where there's no solidity anywhere. Even if we only projected it in the past, that projection is now gone. Look at these faces. Then, the locals will recognize we were discussing this thing today. This is here around the corner, the shop that makes flags. And this is their, the sign that burnt in the sun. So we used to talk about climate collapse as a possibility, as a calamity that might happen. Now we stopped fooling ourselves. Now we're discussing it as a clear certainty and are only refining our projections and dialogues in details. There's complete clarity. Like, we don't have to waste the time on the if word anymore. So great fun, huh? Now, this is a photo from Slovenia. There was a time, I'm really that old, when politicians used to discuss plans for peace and they would activate their powers in order to achieve and maintain peace. Now, literally, there's not a politician in the world using that forbidden word. The only agreement among the political class is that the pacifists are somehow the enemies of status quo. This beautiful photograph is from my wonderful country of Slovenia, where the entire economy is now being restructured around a defense cluster. This photo is from a few days ago. We had a first time an arms fair in our tiny country. And interestingly, the state managed to organize that the high school students within their class of civic education all went to the arms fair. Now, can you even start thinking about it? I can't. Then, the thing that was just now discussed, we have spent hours over breakfasts and long breakfasts in these last few days negotiating and articulating anew the dimensions of chaos that these jerks are generating globally. It is fantastic. The one on the left you maybe do not know so well. He just had a fantastically interesting series of talks about Antichrist. That is a very, very influential person, owner of Palantir, who is the owner of all data about you, just so you know. The guy on the right you know, and yeah, enough about him. But I just wanted to kind of pitch in like a semi-answer to somebody from the audience about what is the vision that these guys have. And there was a guy who left asking about whether it is going to be humans or the companies that are going to own the algorithms. It is interesting to learn, and I spoke about that here last year, what are the books that these people, the owners of the biggest companies in the history of the world, that they are reading? What is their sort of a belief system, as much as we can infer, this is the same black box situation. You are analyzing somebody at a distance. It would be better to ask, but no answer coming. And just to wrap it around a few easy words to remember, there is a very influential short text by a pseudo-philosopher, actually a blogger, Curtis Yarwin, from 15 years ago, discussing and suggesting something called the patchwork, of pieces of land. So the entirety of the globe in that vision is divided not anymore in nation states, which are already Holocaust-inducing fantasy of rich white men, but it is instead divided in independent economic zones, like Cyprus, if I may, owned preferably by corporations, owned by single individuals, where they treat among themselves and all data is on blockchain and all money is gone to heaven. Now, try and study the patchwork system, the idea, because these people are enforcing it now. This is what is being stuffed down our throat, along with solutionism that you have mentioned. Like, these guys don't even know what this stupid thing is for, but they're now going to sell it to us nevertheless. No use cases, for instance, and it's spooky. So that's the other crisis. The third one that I perceive is all digital art is fucking screensavers. This is the entrance of some local museum in another country, and a very famous art piece that is being promoted as the pinnacle of the pinnacles, and it is fucking crap, and it is supposed to be AI, and it's just a fucking rubbish. I'm getting a little bit nervous. I'm making myself nervous when I think about this. There's another piece right now in that same space. I cannot believe it. I cannot. Digital art, and I'm grateful for the insanely long introduction. And in the 90s, when we were approaching it with a few veterans, even older than my generation, we were discussing the digital world and the internet as a space of freedom and emancipation and critical thinking and sharing and shit like that. Now it's a space of fear. Look at us showing each other images of tanks and of death, And you have art that is supposed to be critical media art, and it's not. It's just decorating rich people's apartment. It's horrible. So none of those little vectors that are killing us or massacring our imaginary is even improving. There's not a single whiff of a wind of a possible stabilization, let alone improvement. No, it's all going downwards. It is depressing. What is to be done? I wanted to put a picture of Lenin here, but I said no, I'll instead just use the words. Luckily for you, the life coach is in the house. And yes, I have a tendency to not use the seriousness as interface because I think it's a pleonasm. If you have something very serious to talk about, you better fool around a little bit. Because I learned that it's the same also the other way around. People that have a very serious interface are usually bullshitting you. All right. So one option is prepping. I really love this photo, even if it's not full screen. Look at the expression of this poor woman's face. Her husband has just spent $500,000 for an underground bunker. I sometimes have this, what's that word? Schadenfreude, how do you say the transfer? Or, yeah, whatever. I kind of enjoy watching human beings spending millions on underground bunkers and food for years and everything, like preparing for the end of the world. Jesus Christ, look at this face. But by the way, that YouTube channel has like, what's that number? Like 600,000+ subscribers. So there is a market for this guy. Another option is business as usual, playing dead, going on with your daily labor. It's my choice of photos. I just enjoy it. And this is what more or less the majority of people are kind of subscribing to. It is what we also call the liberal radical center in the political terms. It's like, oh, no, everything is radical. We're going to go to work, we're going to raise a family, we're going to pay rent, we're going to, I don't know, pay the car. Well, fuck them. Or should I say, fuck you. And now, there's also passivity, total passivity. I like the guy, what can I do? You might recall the meme. Equally, I'm not intrigued by that. So this is what I think. You see the dramatic black blur. Don't be afraid. I come from Yugoslavia. There is a guy, a writer, an essay writer, a friend, Boris Buden. Some of you might know him. You should. His wife is into new media, but he's more important now. In '91, when Yugoslavia was falling apart, he started explaining to everybody that the statement "European Union is the future of Yugoslavia" is interesting, but as a matter of fact, Yugoslavia is the future of European Union. And but the lesson I'm interested in here is, if you don't like the curtains, maybe you shouldn't exactly burn the entire house. How about fixing what's wrong instead of sort of massacring a few 100,000 people? But what it also was is it translates beautifully to our immediate neighborhood here, but also Cyprus itself, which is this like bullshit idea of a nation state, and we should do something about it, but not tonight. Anyway, our job. It is actually quite straightforward. The problem is with this idea of a nation and belonging to a tribe of any sort, and then this tribe needs to fight other tribes. I think this is our destiny to then, once confronted with militant people from the other side, we have to understand that maybe we should enter that fight. I'm developing a little bit of a radicalization with, and my wife, my current wife, who's there and filming everything, is going to rewind this at home and will make me watch it. It's going to be very painful. But yeah, she keeps telling me, "Okay, man, are you like, how serious are you?" And I will avoid to answer to her and to you right now. But I believe protest is, however, necessary. Vladan, where are you here? No, I mean there.
Which one is that one?
Yeah, this is a photo from 2 days ago. Vladan is actually one of the there.
Somewhere around
E, the first E.
Yeah.
Okay, where's Waldo? Huh? Where's Vladan?
Where's Waldo?
Yeah, this is a photo from Novi Sad, and Vladan is one of the intriguingly highly placed or sort of semi-centrally placed individuals in this fight, and nothing but applause from me for that. Never fail to protest, please. Never fail to express your opinion. Never fail to organize around that, whatever you do. I like the photo, and you can see in that building, and in that building you can see it's like mirrors, and so it multiplies the crowd. It's a high-res picture, and so on. Also reading. Please go out and download the entirety of every shadow library you can find, and just read everything you find there. I'm noticing nobody's doing that anymore. I would never write slides with this text if I didn't feel and notice in conversation that people don't have the ability to remember sources of what they know, and then we are in Vladan territory, in the like who is shaping your subconscious and what your knowledge. Read the actual sources, go for the book. Paper versions are super cool. Try them, and I like the photo, yeah. I think it's from The Economist. I stole it. Right, and I've been living in galleries and all these art festivals and crap for way too many decades, and I've went through all the stages, like 5,000 stages of grief or whatever it's called, of like how art is only purely symbolic and doesn't interfere with life and world or anything like that. But try to pump my optimism about, yeah, well, you know, we should do art that is powerful by deliberately going in that direction. So this is an echo of that phrase I used before, where our job is not to decorate rich people's apartments. It's good to sell stuff to them so we can buy food, but you know, don't go all the way. Don't go all the way in. Okay. Oh yeah. Now, what am I doing? This is one of the heroes from previous centuries. This is Hunter Thompson, who used the typewriter a lot. He's shooting at the IBM Selectric. If anybody here is a typewriter fanatic, it's this machine that had like a golf ball letters. You know that machine. You are like that. Yeah, you would know. Yeah. So I couldn't resist the temptation, and I will be showing you the stuff I do. But as a little bit of an intro, I should say that a trick I discovered is that it's good to have different, separate careers or lines where everybody thinks you belong to another line of work. So I'm like doing consulting for businesses, and there none of the colleagues in the industry is afraid of me because, or you know, respects me, as a matter of fact, because they know I'm an artist. So I'm like, that crazy guy. In the art community, oh, he's that activist, you know, he's going to throw paint at the ministry and he's going to scream at somebody in television. Yeah, he's not a real artist, you know, the nice guy dressed, always kind and all that, and so on and so on. So it's a good tactics. And the other one is, if I may, somebody asked me about this yesterday, 1.5 meters away from here, when I was talking about my fantastically relevant art piece, about humor, sense of humor and shit like that. And it reminded me of something I realized time ago, that sense of humor is basically just a sign of intelligence, whereas also the ability to make jokes about yourself is a sign of maturity of sorts. And it is interesting, think of it through that lens, please. And remember how many people you ever met that have the ability to make you laugh, and especially with jokes about themselves. And that the answer to that question will be also telling you how many serious and mature people you ever met, okay? So, one project that I'm working on with here present Vladan, and I have presented last year in this room, and I only dedicated one slide to it, it's not about that today, is this sand in the motor of capitalism type of a project. We all know for years now that large language models have eaten the entirety of cultural exhaust of humanity. Everything ever said, written, or you know, image is now there. So our job as creative, reactionary, or resistance artists is to do neologisms, to come up with new words that the stupid fucker cannot understand. We are aware that every act of rebellion is, in the end, just debugging that system you are rebelling against. But that should not be the alibi for passivity. So this is just a few of those words that I like the most. Vladan did the drawings here. You can recognize the style and everything, I presume. Down there you have a URL. We just made a website. It's not like launched properly, but it's there, it's active. And next month there's going to be a book, and it will be sold only in the best bookshops in Milano, something like that. So you're screwed anyway. All right. It's pure joy, it is infectious, and being part of this particular resistance movement or gesture is healthy. My tan is better now, my digestion. Yeah. So the other thing I do, which is coming out of the disgust with the digital art community, is typewriter by hand. And I'm doing these ASCII drawings that I used to do in the 90s, like it was mentioned. You might possibly recognize these two guys, by the way, and it's not Michael Jackson. The one on the right is Elon Musk and on the stage with Trump, and the one on the left is an Italian guy. This is from Milano, 1945. Any takers? That's Mussolini. Yeah, you should know it. Oh, Paisan. Okay, I have it on my T-shirt. Look, I printed it on the T-shirt. Yeah. Check it out. This again is like I'm kind of sharing with you my position in these crises and what is my little tactics or multitude of tactics. And one of them is to sit down with this orange machine made in Sarajevo, Yugoslavia in the 70s and like just make that horrible noise and images come out. It's 50 times easier to do it on a computer, but the joy I'm getting out of this is genuine and nobody can take it from me. Yeah. Then this
$FFFJJGF TFJRRRJ GFJJRRXRR
this is just an ASCII image of a very famous NFT, and also it is being, I passed it through text-to-speech. So there's a sound to it, and it says $$$$FFFFJFJFFF. It's beautiful, it's like so stupid. It is against every rule in the known universe. It is insulting to every user of computer technology, and I fucking love it. And I think we will skip this slide now. So the next thing that I'm doing as a reaction to the NFT world, there's going to be a number of slides now similar to this one. I'm doing artist books in one copy that you can never see unless I have it in the pocket. I met you in the street incidentally, and I judge the dialogue as kind of conductive, or what's that word? Like it might lead towards the topic of this little book. So yeah, I'm going to open it in front of you and you're going to hold it for a few minutes and give it back to my pocket. All friends of mine, old and new, or should I say many, the vast majority of them, every time we meet, every time we talk, keep doing the same thing. You might remember in the musical films in the 50s and 60s, there was this moment, a couple walking down the beach in the moonlight, and all of a sudden the idiot starts to sing. Like, what the fuck? We call it bursting into singing. Well, now, all of my digital arts friends burst into marketing and sales. And I just cannot stomach that. Like, oh, look at this piece. Nobody says how I did it or what do you think about poetics or my target. No, I minted 100 copies and it's in an auction and it's a great piece thanks to that. Go and die. So I decided that the only way to counter that is to work on my own, with myself, for myself, spend time working on these things. So this little haiku book, I spent about more than a week of full days, many hours, plowing through a digital archive of Slovenian partisan newspapers, in the middle of the war, 42, 43, 44. Looking at all that stuff. I have a friend, Sugar János, a Hungarian person, married to an Australian chick, who once in his video quoted somebody else, but I cannot find the source. Maybe it was Kittler, this German guy. He said, the machine gun is the typewriter of the illiterate. It's kind of a sweet, poetic thing, has a ring to it, a lot of ring. So I kind of understood I could reverse it. Because you see, in partisan media, I like that word, in the partisan newspapers, they had no paper, it was really hard. So when an article would end, they wouldn't leave the blank space at the bottom of the page. No, they just put a line and the next article begins. We have to save the resources. So I started noticing those separator lines. And I kind of fell in love with them because the text was admittedly a little bit too predictable and, but the lines were sexy. And I realized, wait a minute, that dactylographer in the middle of the forest in winter 1942, surrounded with, Italian, German, and all other people, patriots, should I say, nationalists, with guns, That dactylographer in the silence of the forest was using those lead letters and shooting that paper. And I was hearing the sound of machine gun coming from a typewriter. I'm sorry to bother you with this silly poetics, but that's what drove me. And here's just a couple samples of the haikus that I then made from those border lines and stuff like that. Yeah, these are nice. Then I did the sonnets, of course. As you can see, they're very carefully numbered. One copy, fuck you all. Sonnets look like this. No, you will only see it if I want you to see it. If not, you cannot. There's nothing you can do in the world. These are sonnets. Here you hear more machine gun fire if you want. I like the one on the right because these are all scans from some libraries. So these contain the stamps. So there's also the bombs. Okay. The next one, I'll try to fly through these. There's not too many of them. You might remember the Rosenbergs, the trial of Russian spies. They were executed in the end, and recently this was declassified, and I had put my hand on some scans, and I just, out of this censorship, I identified some poetry, some visual poetry, asemic poetry if you want, and I made these duplexes. I think they're very poetic. Then this expression, asemic writing, if it's not known to you, please look it up. But for me, as an archaeologist, it meant like the ability to project an interpretation into an object. So I took old comics and I found poetry and I enlarged it. This is a thing that the guy on the left holds in his hand, so I isolated it, made it bigger. And I've done tons of these. This is just a quick selection from that little bookie I got. And then this is a few that I'm a little bit too lazy to finish. They're now on my desk and I'm hoping to wrap it up really fast. I like this one. You might remember Bruce Chatwin, a guy, he's I think dead by now. He wrote about song lines, which is a type of oral history / geography of Australia. But I saw song lines in the partisan movement, in the landscape. This to me looks like poetry, and so I did these. Then you might know this Frenchman, he also died, many dead people today. He wrote this fantastic collection of poems. Does anybody know this collection of poems? Does it need, yeah it does, okay. 100 000 milliards de poèmes is a collection of 10 sonnets, super simple. All 10 sonnets have identical meter and identical rhyme, and the book is published on cardboard and cut between all the verses, so you get like spaghetti. The result being, however you open the book, the verses always perfectly rhyme. So first verse from second sonnet, third verse from 12th sonnet, no, 10th, and you get the perfect result. So now I did a ChatGPT massacre and I did an actually functioning Slovenian translation of that, and you will see it when it's out. This is useless for you. How's your French, how's your Slovenian, forget it. Then I had to do this. This is an easy one, you might know. Cover of a record. This is how they look, those verses. You might appreciate this one. This is totally under construction. And I thought of a few people in the audience while making these slides this morning. So this is the poetry of Antifa stickers. Now, I'll give you a minute to kind of check the first. I think, Vladan, the first one you will kind of like. Yeah. Okay. More Free Luigi, you know. Some are not so great, you know. Yeah, you have to have clarity, you know. Again, this is Apollinaire, another dead person, haiku. Oh, the one here on the right, I posted that one on that blue website, and somebody liked it and asked me for the file, and now it's all over Colombia. So I got some photos, it's very sweet. So then, this is a thing that's not from this year, but I wanted to show to you as a little bit of a display of diversity that is good, so people cannot track you. This is a monument. Go away, you white boy. Hey, that's a white man. So this is 18 tons of concrete on a truck going through Slovenia. And it is a monument I have done together with the current wife and the third person who is not here. And it is about Slovenian nationalism, but I will only explain if you really want to later. It requires a lot of introduction and fuck that, but I like the video. And I like the fact that Irena is here, so it's like a little bit of a tip of the hat. All right. Now, this is a little bit, I'm being really fast now. The non-governmental organization Adobe, you know, the makers of Photoshop and such, finally reacted to very many complaints by humans that the document size of the PDF is too tiny. It was limited to 5 by 5 meters. So I have done the, when they have then reacted and made a theoretical maximum of 400 by 400 kilometers, not small. I jumped on it right away with a dear friend, Luka, and did a map of Slovenia one-on-one, like in real size. It's Borges again. I'm the artist of text, and actually majority of shit I talk about is coming from literature, even if I don't want. So this is like the biggest art piece in Slovenia, please. Also, it is very gentle and kind. It is respecting our neighbors. It is just the border. It never crosses. And I think it's cute. This is what you see here is a 1-hour video that we are going to skip, don't worry. Of just a border patrol, like a flyover the border. I really like it. And we might do, I hear there's a lot of interest for a Cypriot replica. We already found the venue and the investors. Joking, it's just an insider joke from last night's exaggerated dinner. Okay, and now, here I would really need sounds. So, again, nationalism, this time in Slovenia, fantastic. Small country, imperialism of small nations, a beautiful concept. Anyway, there was one of the waves of exploration of migrants, and our right-wing party organized some sort of something at the border, you know, shouting loud in front of cameras. And usually many people get drunk, and this here lady got drunk, came to this protest, and this is how it looked.
Ne damo Slovenije! Ne damo
Can you-
Slovenije! Banda! Banda!
Which one?
Vuk banda!
Just watch.
Ne boste nas
I'm not giving you Slovenia. Slovenia is my land. This is Slovenia.
Ne damo naše države! To je Slovenija!
And look at her now.
Tukaj je naša
This,
Slovenija! Slovenija! Moja država! Ne pozdravlja! Kurili! Popeštari! Utičili! Banda!
beautiful. Slovenia is really not a producer of iconic situations. This is actually the one we have in the entirety of 30-something 4 years of history. So I did this. This is a table clock in shape of Slovenia, and it is repeating the sound, and it is doing this every hour. It's like a cuckoo clock. And I felt it kind of falls in the mix of being a little bit of a resistance person, giving the fuck off to the rest of the world in an active way. And this is a phrase I was reminded of recently. It's from a song. Does anybody know this one? Iggy Pop, Stooges, 1973 or 4. So this is it from me. This is my email. Don't write. I won't answer. So fuck you all. That's all I got for today. I have prepared a few questions for the audience. You, no, I'm joking.